Elsewhere, Iran condemns Myanmar's government for the persecution of Rohingya Muslim minority in the Southeast Asian country. The foreign ministry spokesman says that Tehran slams all types of discrimination against minorities anywhere in the world. Bahram Ghasemi urged Myanmar to stop the violence directed toward the Muslim community. Rohingya Muslims have suffered extensive discrimination despite living in Myanmar for centuries. Over 100 Muslims have been killed and thousands displaced in the latest state-sponsored crackdown that was launched in October. Brief from the Islamic Human Rights Commission in London, Mr. Masood Shajara joins us now for more insight on that story. Mr. Shajara, welcome to the program. Walk us through the recent comments made by Iran's foreign ministry spokesman regarding the discrimination against the Muslim minority in Myanmar.
Well, undoubtedly, it's a fact that Myanmar Muslims are actually the most persecuted group. And that has been identified by the United Nations. And indeed, their plight has been almost forgotten by the rest of the national states and indeed the West. The reality is that the suffering is now coming to such a state that it's been identified by almost everyone at all-out ethnic cleansing and last stages of ethnic cleansing, as this has been going on for a very long time. It is really important that nations will stand up in support of the Rohingya Muslims, and we are very pleased to see that Iran has made that stand. We've been urging the OIC to make a stand, which they have failed to do so, and indeed United States and the West, Britain, etc. And unfortunately, Aung San Suu Kyi, who is been given a Nobel Peace Prize, is actually becoming instrumental in this process of ethnic cleansing the Muslims from their own land and they're from own nation, and denying them the right of citizenship and leaving them with no protection whatsoever. And really, some of the information and evidence that is coming out of Myanmar is so frightening. We are seeing videos of children being thrown into fire. We are seeing sort of mass destruction of villages, and we are getting reports of systematic rape of the women, and this is really unprecedented in today's age, and unfortunately the silence by the international community is very deafening.
Mr. Shajara, what we've seen so far with regards to the issue of the Muslims and the Rohingya in Myanmar is that the international community has basically achieved very little to change the situation, the circumstances there. You mentioned that nations should stand up. We're seeing the condemnations coming from Iran. Should world nations highlighting Muslim countries, should they coalesce in censuring the situation there and find unison in their condemnations to change and alter the situation for the Rohingya?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, we are getting condemnation from all around the world, including many and indeed all Muslim nations. When there is a bomb goes out in Paris or anywhere else in the sort of European or Western hemisphere, and here we are seeing systematic slaughtering, killing and raping and ethnic cleansing and of fellow human beings and fellow Muslim, and not a whisper coming out of the OIC and not a whisper coming out of the Western governments. And you know, it would have been much greater outcry if there were cattle, if there were animals, if there were cats and dogs being slaughtered and killed in such a numbers and treated in this way. And this actually shows the sort of the politics of the West when it comes to Muslims. And in reality, we see this is actually also as a result of the level of Islamophobia and hatred which has been created against Muslims, that their lives and their being, even the lives of their children, it seems to be not moving anyone and is sort of not important whatsoever when it comes to international community. This is really outrageous, and something needs to be done. And I urge everyone who's, all the viewers, contact the Myanmar sort of embassy, put pressure on the West, put pressure on the UN. Something needs to be done. The international community, the politicians, and the governments seems to be incapable of doing anything. It is up to us to actually raise the interest and the plight of the Rohingya Muslim and stand up for their justice and for their well-being.
Thank you very much. Masood Chajer is from the Islamic Human Rights Commission, joining us from the British capital, London.